It's a real key moment in the history of women's basketball, women's sports, to have the visibility that we have. And then for us, Indiana. This offseason, the Fever made some bold moves, releasing players to make room for fresh talent, address team needs, and align with their long-term goals. During the WNBA expansion, the Indiana Fever said goodbye to some of their players. Today, we're diving into the latest changes with the Indiana Fever, a team that's been making waves both on and off the court as they prep for another competitive season. Let's talk about the players they've parted ways with, the reasoning behind these moves, and what this means for the future of the franchise. What are the next few weeks, maybe months, looking like for you as you continue to get to work here? Yeah, we'll fill out the rest of the coaching staff. That's top priority. We want to really have our basketball staff in place as we hit free agency. That kicks in January, and that's where our focus will be. Obviously, we're getting out and scouting a lot of the college games that are going on, looking at players internationally. So everybody's got their hands in a little bit of it right now, just making sure we're covering all the bases and putting ourselves in a position to have the most information possible to make the best decisions when the time comes. Remember, you've got a Fever. The Indiana Fever has been in rebuilding mode for a few years now. They have been signing young standout players like Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. They're aiming to reestablish themselves as a top-tier contender in the WNBA. Part of any rebuild involves tough decisions about who stays and who goes. The Fever will have work to do during the offseason. Sure, 2024 was a success, but the Fever finished as the number 6 overall seed. For the past few months, the question of who stays and leaves has been on top of the Fever's agenda, as a major reshuffling process starts from the top. Last month, the franchise said goodbye to its former head coach, Christine Siddis. Christine Siddis did a good job last season, but the franchise said Stephanie White, who has a root in the franchise, is a better fit for their ambition. Adding to the roster will be important, but the Fever must also consider moving on from some players. This brings us to who's leaving the Fever. And here is Jones. Denial at the rim. Sent back by Fingeroll. She's going to try her luck on the offensive end. Fingeroll ducks in and finishes. How about that back-to-back? The block and the bucket. The 6-4 Senators returned to the WNBA after 4 seasons playing exclusively overseas. She struggled with injuries, but still managed to play an important role for the Fever throughout the 2024 campaign. She averaged 6.4 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 0.7 blocks in 18.9 minutes per game. Fingeroll appeared in just 22 regular season contests, and there is a question about how much the Fever can count on her. So why is Fingeroll not the best fit for this Caitlin Clark-led roster? Fingeroll's fit isn't necessarily the problem, but the Fever wants to upgrade the roster around Clark and other stars such as Aaliyah Boston. Because of that, bringing Fingeroll back would not make too much sense. The Fever revealed the list of 6 players protected by the franchise. Fingeroll didn't make the list. Moving on from Fingeroll could lead to the Fever adding multiple impactful players to add necessary roster depth. The 32-year-old is now a restricted free agent this offseason, and Indiana may prioritize using their cap space elsewhere. The 6-4 center does not stretch the floor or protect the rim. The Fever will likely look for a superior fit around Clark to use off the bench. In a surprise ending, forward Temi Fingeroll was selected by the Golden State Valkyries in the WNBA expansion draft. Although the Fever left her unrestricted, still losing Fingeroll is a blow to the Fever's depth. But expansion drafts are always unpredictable, and every team has to make sacrifices. Another player the Fever will part ways with is Nolisa Smith. Smith was primarily a starter, but her production dipped in year 3. The 6-7 forward averaged 15.5 points and 9.2 rebounds in 2023, but her shot attempts were way down with Clark in town. Smith saw just 9 minutes in Game 1 of their first-round playoff series before she was demoted to the bench for Game 2, and is not part of the Fever's long-term plans. Though the Fever's number 2 overall pick in 2022 will likely depart the franchise this offseason. Smith was vocal about her dissatisfaction with her playing time this past season, but that may have been directed at the previous managing staff. But Indiana brought back new governing staff from the president to the team's coach. Kelly Krauskopf was appointed as the team president. She was the architect of all those title-contending teams featuring Tamika Catchings, including winning it all in 2012. Even though it's a new managing staff, Krauskopf planned to build around Clark and continue to add pieces until the Fever is an elite team. Should the Fever consider the possibility of not re-signing a 24-year-old who has helped the team throughout the season? Smith is a good player. Her fit alongside Clark is questionable though. Smith is a versatile forward who contributes in multiple facets of the game. If you like the video, please give a like to the video and also subscribe to the channel. But going in a different direction could allow the Fever to bring in another superstar. Indiana could protect Smith in hopes they could trade her later and get another player in exchange for the former number 2 overall pick. Or they could be planning to keep her for 2025 and hope a new system brings out the best in her. Lastly, Erica Wheeler was released by the Indiana Fever. Wheeler was the Fever's second highest paid player in 2024 but averaged the 9th most minutes. The 5'7" guard went from starter in 2023 to backing up Caitlin Clark. It limited her to just 14.0 minutes per game, and Wheeler's lack of consistent shooting makes her a problematic fit next to the Fever star. Wheeler averaged 9.9 points, 5.0 assists, 3.0 rebounds, and 1.1 steals in 26.8 minutes per game in 2023 as their starter. She shot under 40% from the field, but the veteran has been a consistent contributor over her 9 years in the WNBA. The 33-year-old is an unrestricted free agent this offseason and hopes to land significantly more than Indiana's willing to pay. Expect the franchise to move on and use that cap space on a better fit next to their 22-year-old superstar. Why were these moves made? The Fever's roster changes reflect a combination of lots of factors. First off, the franchise needs youth movement. With young players centered around Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Lexi Hull, the team is focusing on developing younger players. To do this, they have to let go of old blood in the team. Another major factor is cap space management. The salary cap considerations always play a role. Releasing veteran players or those with limited roles helps free up cap space for future acquisitions. Also, fit and chemistry are needed to build a cohesive roster. This means there's a need to prioritize players who align with the coaching staff's vision and the team's playing style. A major part of this shuffling is the appointment of Stephanie White as head coach. The Connecticut Suns parted ways with Stephanie White after coaching 2 seasons in Connecticut, leading the Sun to a second-place spot in the Eastern Conference both seasons and a second-round playoff exit each time. White's been rumored to be next in line for the head coaching job with the Indiana Fever and their star player, Caitlin Clark. Known for her outstanding leadership and ability to develop talent, White is expected to bring a fresh start to the Fever. Hopes of a good season under Stephanie are high because of her familiarity with the organization, having played and coached for the team previously. This makes her a perfect fit to lead this new chapter. Even more, White's approach will likely focus on fostering a strong team culture and maximizing the potential of young stars. The recent roster moves reflect her influence and the organization's commitment to long-term success. So, what's next for the Indiana Fever? With a strong, vibrant team and an experienced coach in Stephanie White, the team is building toward a bright future. We expect impressive development from the players. Also, there would be new additions because the Fever's front office isn't done yet. Expect more moves as they continue to tweak the roster. The Indianapolis Fever will look different next season. They figure to be significant players in free agency and are eager to build a title-contending roster around Caitlin Clark. So, expect plenty of moves into the team. Also, we look forward to the playoff push. While the Fever may not be immediate title contenders, their playoff appearance would be better than last season. Roster moves are always a mix of excitement and heartbreak, but they're a necessary part of building a competitive team. The Indiana Fever is focused on the future, and while it's sad to see players like Erica Wheeler and Temi Fagbennel go, these changes could pave the way for a new era of success. So, I have 3 non-negotiables. Number 1, they have to be ultra-competitive, they have to really love winning, and they have to hate to lose. Number 2, they have to be high character, so that means they have to sacrifice for the greater good of the team, always. And then the last one is they have to have a never-satisfied mindset, meaning I like players that like to play with a little chip on their shoulder. And they have to love to be a great player. Basically, players that have that dog in them. Golden State will start constructing its team with the expansion draft, getting up to 13 players. There are multiple ways the expansion draft can shake out for the Fever. Golden State will be able to pick 1 unprotected player from each team, as well as 1 unrestricted free agent. Hello everyone, it's Maria Conde here. Just wanted to say that I'm extremely happy to be part of the Golden State Valkyries, and I can't wait to see this team start writing its own history. Hey, it's Veronica Burton here. Just want to say I'm super excited to be joining the Golden State Valkyries and be a part of their first season in the W. It's just an amazing opportunity and an honor to get drafted. We have a great group, and I can't wait to get to work. I am so excited to be part of the Golden State Valkyries. It's such an honor to have been picked in the draft, and I'm looking forward to starting to build. They can pick one of Indiana's players, or the Fever and Valkyries can work out a pre-expansion draft trade that could give Indiana more freedom to control how a player leaves the franchise. Or, in the most basic form, Golden State won't pick a player from Indiana's roster at all. But as fans, all we can do is trust the process, support the team, and get ready for another thrilling WNBA season. Who knows, this could be the year the Fever starts turning heads again. Don't forget to share and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching and subscribe my channel.